The door creaked open as I stepped through the hallway door and into the world of my grandparents' attic. Dust motes lazily fell through the light that slanted from the windows onto the rickety steps, and it smelled of a room constantly shut up and devoid of life. The breath escaped my lips in a disgruntled gasp. It was the second day of summer vacation and the first day of my forced exile to clean up the attic. This is not how I pictured my summer vacation going, I muttered under my breath as I made my way up the stairs and into the dusty, murky darkness. As I reached the top of the steps and surveyed the mess around me, anger swamped me, and I kicked the nearest box, hearing a satisfying thump as it crashed into the wall. Anger was my constant companion these days, and I had plenty to be angry about. My mom left me about a year ago, just up and left. No warning, no goodbye, no nothing. One day she was there, and the next she was gone, and I woke up to find my grandmother sitting in the living room like she had always been there. At first, I was just waiting for my mom to come home, but as the days turned into weeks, turned into months, turned into a year, my waiting turned to sadness and now into a boiling rage that has been consuming me from the inside out. Which is why I got into the fight, which is how I got arrested for assault, which is why I am cleaning the attic instead of lying by the pool enjoying my summer vacation. Choices, Lainey. I heard my grandmother's voice in my head as she had decreed that I could either clean the attic for some get straightened up therapy or go see Dr. Thomas for some abandoned by your mother therapy. Again. Choices, I muttered back in return. What choices had I had in my situation? None, and it pissed me off. I took a deep, cleansing breath, which turned into a fit of coughing as I inhaled enough dust to start my own desert. Okay, I thought, I can do this. Make a system of organization. I thought back to my time watching the life-changing magic of tidying up with Marie Kondo, the little tiny Asian lady who believed in only keeping things that bring you joy. My grandmother lived and died for that kind of crazy, but she's old and who knows what's going on in her head. I certainly don't. The boxes felt brittle and dirty as I began to empty them one by one. Keep, donate, trash. Donate, trash, trash, trash. Keep. How would I know what to keep? I wondered, sorting by rote. None of this junk was mine, but it seemed like I instinctively knew what called to me. A statue of a purple giraffe, its neck reaching, chin tilted up, a small blue stone, a yellow butterfly pin that would look awesome on my backpack. For every treasure I found, there were 6 things I got rid of: old-fashioned rackets, boxes of old newspapers, and random dishes. I wondered what category I fell into for my mom: keep, donate, trash, and where she fell for me. Right now, trash. But in my heart of hearts, I wanted her back. I sorted the boxes closest to the steps and began to work my way back into the depths of the attic. But at that moment, my stomach let it be known that it was time to eat, and I was not about to starve myself for this pointless job. My knees creaked as I stood up, stretching out my back. The light from the windows was even brighter as the sun was shining directly through the grimy panes. I should clean those off when I get back, I thought. I could actually see what I'm doing if I can get to them through all this junk. I made a mental note to bring some rags and Windex when I came up again and headed down the stairs back into the normal world. The afternoon progressed much the same as the morning, repetitively and mind-numbingly boring. Donate, trash. Donate, donate, trash, trash, trash. I found myself putting stuff in the trash pile without even looking at it. I needed a break, I thought, tightening my sticky-feeling ponytail and stretching my arms at the same time. My glance around the room fell on the Windex I brought up after lunch. Well, not quite a break, but at least it was something different, I thought, picking up a rag and twirling the bottle from my finger. Unfortunately, it was a maze to get to the windows, but I had to tackle it sometime. Wending my way through the labyrinth of boxes and crates and furniture from other eras of the Wilson family, I slowly and carefully hopped, stepped, and lunged my way to the window. But as I got closer, I began to notice that the boxes were different. In fact, they weren't boxes at all. They were legit trunks, and the layer of dust on these wasn't as thick, like they had been wiped off. Odd, I thought. These boxes should be the dirtiest. And I took my hand and wiped off the thin layer of dust that looked recently accumulated. A brilliant lavender shimmered back at me. I looked at the trunks closer. Unlike the rest of the attic, these were precisely stacked 4 high instead of haphazardly thrown everywhere, almost like they were forming a wall. Curious, I wiped the dust off the next trunk down. Teal. The next trunk revealed chartreuse, and the final trunk was a startling orange. What in the world? These boxes shimmered like Christmas balls backlit by twinkling lights, but there were no lights. Upon closer inspection, intricate designs decorated the boxes, almost invisible in their monochromatic coloring. I bent down to shove the beautiful boxes to the side to get to the window, and I heard it. A gentle sound bombinating quietly in the bottom box. I sat back on my heels. This was not normal at all. But what to do? Ignore it? Explore it? I am, by nature, a person who assesses a situation before committing. But since my mom disappeared, I've been more apt to go with my gut response. Thus, the fight. Granted, it hasn't worked well, but apparently my mother didn't care about me, so what the hell? I thought. I'm going to get into that box. Grasping the top box with both hands, I tried to move it, but did not expect the resistance I felt. It flat out wouldn't move. Well, maybe it's too heavy, I thought. I'll just empty it and move it when it's lighter. The clasps gleamed at me like silver beacons calling me to open the box. I tentatively unclasped the hooks and lifted the lid. The box was empty. Utterly empty, but it seemed like a very deep empty. I stuck my arm in as far as I could and rapped on the side of the box. The sound echoed into the humming that was subtly louder. My arm reached all the way to the chartreuse box. This wasn't a stack of boxes at all. It was a passageway. But to where? I slammed the lid of the box shut in shock. My mind was racing. Why was there a passageway in the attic that appeared to be recently used? Was I supposed to discover this? Is that why my grandmother was so insistent that I clean the attic? My heart pounded in my chest as I considered all the possibilities and ramifications of this passageway. I needed a new plan. Cleaning the attic was now at the bottom of the list. Traversing the passageway was now at the top. Clearly, my family had secrets that I was not privy to. Perhaps it was time to discover them myself. I sprayed the Windex over the trunks and gently wiped away the dust. The boxes glowed with an incandescent light, and as I revealed more and more of the design, I noticed that it wasn't a design at all, but rather a map, and it appeared to be moving? Peering closer at the dots, I noticed not just places, but also people labeled. There was an Empress Galatea that I noticed near the town of Yern, and a Sam Johnson near the dot of Valeria. I slowly circled the box and watched the small dots moving across what looked like a mountain range near what appeared to be a beach and across various roads. There was a whole world in those trunks. I attempted to commit this map to memory when I saw it. A small dot, no bigger than a thumbtack, that said, Lizette Wilson. My heart stopped. Hope swelled in my chest, followed quickly by that ever-familiar burst of anger. Mom, I breathed. She was there, and I could be too, if I could find her. I would find her. There was no question, really. As I lifted the lid of the trunk passage again, I noticed, sewn on a parchment label in the lid, 4 words: fortitude, tenacity, equanimity, and valor. They seemed important, so I ripped the label off of the box and stuffed it in my pocket. Choices, I muttered, as I hoisted my legs over the edge of the trunk and slid into the passageway.